Today on the Nerdy Gritty, rumors abound about Google's possible console. What will they need to do to make it successful?
Hey guys, welcome to the Nerdy Gritty, where we delve deep into the details of pop culture. I'm Fox.
I'm Dez.
And we've got a lot to talk about today in the Google arena, like we mentioned before.
But typically we have some intros and stuff going on.
No, we don't do that.
No, nothing
Never,
like
ever.
that. So, Fox,
Yes.
I have an incredibly important question for you.
Oh, you do?
Yes. What is your favorite Indiana Jones movie and why?
I like Temple of Doom.
You really do?
I do. I recognize that it's not as good as the other two as far as like just the story is not the... I like the ones where he's fighting the Nazis as a better story. That's just more like, woo, fighting the Nazis. Temple of Doom I like the most because of its risk that it was when they released it.
Absolutely.
Raiders of the Lost Ark was a huge success. And so when they followed it up, they felt like they were able to
Experiment.
do something that wasn't like they knew they would have they would have success basically whether or not people liked it because people wanted more Indiana Jones. And so they went dark with it. Went with like the whole like child slavery and
it was
human
dark.
sacrifice and
pulling hearts out of
the
chests.
whole Kali Ma, like just so yeah, I loved Temple of Doom. It's my favorite. But all three of Indiana Jones movies are all
good.
All three
are
so good.
My wife and I have been watching them. She had only ever seen Temple of Doom once and a long time ago.
That's the only one you've seen.
And only the TV... No, she's seen the other two. She's seen the first and the third, but never... She saw Temple of Doom once, the TV edited version, and it was like years ago. And she's like,
different.
Let's watch it. You know what I mean? So we watched it, and she was asking a lot of questions just on like... Because it's so different. It's not bad, but it's so different.
It's very different.
She's asking questions like, why is the female character so weak when number 1 and number 3 have such strong female characters?
Yeah.
And this one, she's so annoying and I'm trying to explain to her like, okay, in the first one, they kind of revisited the adventure genre of like the 1920s adventure genre. And in this one, they're like, well, let's lean heavily on like the 1940s with the, affable hero, unflappable hero, and his damsel in distress sidekick. Yeah. And they really leaned on that. And it's very different.
Yeah.
She's annoying, so much fun.
But also she does have a character. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
She's a damsel in distress for sure, but she's different. And that's why I like, she wasn't just another strong character. Like, I don't know. I didn't mind that. I also love the minecart chase. Yeah. It's such a good sequence.
It's so much fun.
Both fun and technically impressive because it's all mostly like miniatures and stuff that they do. It's really well done.
All right. Well, that's what I've been up to lately. That and playing a lot of Indiana Jones. I'm playing a lot of indie games. I played Fury for a little while. I think we talked about that a little bit and how I kind of rage quit it.
Your fury made you rage quit.
Yes, absolutely.
You became furious.
And I'm looking for another game to play right now. I'm really not sure what I'm going to do. I'm kind of like this limbo right now. There are so many. Actually, we're part of a Facebook group of like some pretty hardcore gamers, and I asked for suggestions, and there were a lot of really good ones. So we'll see how this goes. What have you been up to?
So I've been playing a lot of a game called Ys 8. Y-S. Ys 8. Lacrimosa of Dana. I'm pronouncing it Dana. It's D-A-N-A, and it's a girl's name. I don't know if that's correct, but that's how we spell Dana.
That is the most JRPG name ever.
It's so stupid.
Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana.
I am...
Hey, what do any of those mean?
Don't worry about it. It's a fun game. That's my policy. Like, I don't know what it means, but it's such a fun game that I don't really care. So far, I've played about 10 hours, maybe? Maybe a little less. 10 is probably 10 to 12. And, the whole, like, Dana is a character so far, but literally only in dreams that the main character has.
Oh, weird.
There is, the plot of the game is that you are on a ship, and it's shipwrecked on an island, and now you're just trying to survive and find survivors. There's no other plot yet.
So, really, it's exactly the same as Battle Block Theater.
Yes.
No, you're shipwrecked on an island and trying to find survivors.
It is a JRPG an action JRPG. It doesn't have the classic like turn-based battle system. The battle system is one of the best parts of it though, because it's just so quick and smooth and fluid, and you don't waste time doing anything in the game. It's really fun to play.
I've been really excited to watch your playthrough of it because it's on our channel right now. Yeah. Nudge, hint, hint. But one thing that I've actually been really getting into recently is Twitch. Yeah. And I've been watching a lot of Twitch. I follow, mostly I follow Christopher Odd and then Viking Blonde, who is Will Overguard, formerly of Extra Credits.
Sure.
And those two guys are my two main streamers that I watch most often. But I'm part of kind of the community of their channels right now. Through that, I've found several other streamers like Mird Morte and Luckless Lovelocks and things like that. And so there are a lot of guys that and girls that I follow that are just a lot of fun, not just to watch. Because if you ever do Let's Plays, if you ever watch a Let's Play, it's fun to watch a video game. But then you get to talk to the people about it. You know what I mean?
That's a great part of it.
And so it's a lot of fun, and it's really cool to be part of these communities. And to me, it's really showing how streaming is becoming kind of a major part of gaming these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when I was growing up, it was like 2-player games were as big as it got, and most games didn't have 2-player co-op. It was single player, and so it was not uncommon at all in the NES and Super NES days to get 4 friends together and watch one friend play a game, or even pass the controller between you guys.
I mean, even PS2 era, my friend Joey and I played Final Fantasy X basically just together.
Yeah.
Like, we both made the decisions. One of us controlled it. Me, is my game. But he made me promise him that I wouldn't continue the game until he came back. Yeah. Which was very difficult to do. But
Silent Hill 3 with my roommates in college. I played Silent Hill 3, and the same thing. Like, I played it, but they were like, you do not play that without us. Just to be clear now, we are watching this game together.
Yep.
And we still talk about, like, this is 15 years after I've graduated from college. 10 years. 10 years after I've graduated from college. And we still talk about moments in that game that we saw together, you know?
Yeah, it's fun.
And it's just this whole thing where streaming is becoming such a much more mainstream thing among gaming communities, which is why I found it really interesting that there are rumors of a Google console coming out that will be focused on streaming.
Well, yeah, so there are rumors about several things gaming related that Google is interested or potentially interested in doing. There's a lot of caveats we have to say, but we want to talk about that today. Google is apparently, through various sources, working on gaming things. A console for one, a streaming service for 2, and we have to. It's not a Twitch streaming service.
Correct.
It's playing games while having other systems do the work of playing those games. You are just streaming the video to your system, to your computer, so you can play a really demanding game on your low-end console or your low-end PC, which is really cool. So that kind of streaming. And then also, what was the other thing? There was 3. It was like a 3-pronged thing. Oh, nope, it's right here. I have it right here.
Fox, we literally just read this.
I know, I literally just read.
You read it out loud to me.
I did, and I'm so sorry.
I heard the dulcet tones of your voice explaining this to me. I remember all 3.
There we go. Okay, the third thing was that they're attempting to bring game developers under their own label, like under the Google label, where that's either like recruit people or just buy companies.
Kind of like Microsoft has just recently
what they made a focus on doing. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to talk about that today, as well as just the idea of creating a console, trying to introduce a new console into the gaming landscape today.
Right.
Because it's an interesting thing to think about. Because now, to me, we have video games. Like, we have our Nintendo Switch, and we got our Xbox and our PlayStation. Do we need something else? Would anybody buy something else?
So here's kind of our layout, what we're going to be doing today. First of all, like you said, there's a lot of caveats. This may not even be a thing.
Yes.
It's all rumors right now. Yes. The Google Yeti, I believe, is what it's.
Yeah, that's a name they've given to.
Yeah, it's a workshop name.
Their streaming service, I believe.
But it may not even exist. It's rumors. If it does exist, Google following through with their projects may not be a thing. Like, they remember Google Glass?
Hey, what a hit. Yeah, they have a tendency to announce things quietly. If it's not a huge announcement, they'll announce it quietly or it's come out through rumors and then it just never materializes.
Right.
In fact, there have been a lot of video game related things that kind of did that. They were intending apparently on buying Twitch, and then Amazon just kind of stole it. Not stole it, but bought it out from under them.
Right.
Which, that happens. But they've also done other video game things. Like they've had they've hired people and hired companies to make games, and then it just never materialized. That's been a thing before.
Right.
So of course, this is all rumor, but it's an interesting idea.
It really is interesting. So we're going to talk about each of these prongs.
Yeah.
Which is a weird word. Prong is up there with some of those like words that make me feel awkward, like erect.
Really?
And
prong?
Prong.
It's one of my dad's favorite 90s metal bands.
Prong?
Prong. Do you ever listen to Prong?
No.
Oh, okay.
I would never listen to Prong. I couldn't do it.
That's a weird word to find uncomfortable.
Oh, that and succulents.
Succulent, I can understand.
Succulents, as in like the type of plants.
Oh.
Succulents. Succulent, to me, it's a little bit of a weird word, but I would describe something as succulent. But succulents, I don't know why. I had somebody tell me like
succulents is like more than one succulent. A succulent is a type of plant. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But you can also describe something as succulent as like a descriptor of a food or a drink or whatever.
I understand that.
Yeah. But
you just find the pluralization.
I don't know why. Yes.
That's weird.
I had somebody recently tell me that they grow succulents, and I was like,
I need to take a shower.
I have to go now. Anyway, so we're going to talk about each of these prongs.
Stop it. If you don't like it, don't say it.
We're going to talk about each of these spearheads.
Aspects. Rumors.
We're going to talk about each of these heads. These pronged heads.
Stop it. You're the worst.
And
I mean, I don't care, but
we'll get into kind of our thoughts on it, and then at the end, because with rumors, there's not much to be able to talk about other than speculation, and speculation isn't something that Fox and I like to do a lot, just because it could be an entire waste of your time.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So what we will talk about at the end of this is what could they do to compete with this?
What would any console have to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
To actually be interesting.
So let's go step by step through some of these prongs here.
Every time. So the first thing they were doing, apparently the first part of their plan is a streaming platform.
Right.
This would be a PC-based streaming platform that I would assume, have a subscription to or something.
Right.
And be able to play. There's an example in here. It's like being able to play The Witcher 3 in a Chrome tab, like to play it through Chrome, their browser. And that's a crazy thing to think about.
That is really insane.
Like when I think of internet-based gaming, I think of like Flash games on like Congregate or something. So that's weird.
To me, this goes two different ways. Number one is the potential of this is incredible. I think that gaming companies would be all about this because The Witcher, like CD Projekt Red releases PC games. When they release that, they don't just release it and then think to themselves, we are releasing a game that we're going to charge $60 for. They have to also think to themselves, it's going to cost them $60 plus whatever hardware they need to buy to upgrade.
Right, which they potentially already have, but
like
for PC.
For PC stuff. Like, if I were to choose to play it, I have the power to play something like that. But if your average Joe Schmo is going to try and go out and try and play Cyberpunk 2077, they probably need to upgrade their machine pretty heavily, and that's something that has to be something that they consider. Like, how powerful can we make this game? Also understanding that we're going to be expecting major upgrades from people.
I mean, games can be played at lower settings, of course. Like,
yes, of course.
And I personally, I actually just bought new parts yesterday for my system, I don't generally I just consider that a separate cost. That's not really something I look at Cyberpunk 2077, which I'm very excited for. I don't look at it as, okay, $60 plus the hundreds of dollars I just think of it as like a shopping list where I don't consider if I want to make a sandwich, I'm not looking at peanut butter and being like, oh, plus the bread. Like, they're separate things to me kind of, but they're both necessary, I guess.
And that's, Joe Schmo does think about that. Before I got a powerful PC, I thought about that.
Yeah, entering into the realm of PC gaming, that's definitely a true thing.
So having this mindset of being like, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah. I can pay $60 plus my subscription service.
Right.
And now I can do this. Yeah. That's really awesome.
That's a big deal.
And then to also tag back on to what I was talking about before with like Twitch streaming and things like that, it'll be really cool to have this opportunity to, you know, not have to think about what is my PC going to have to handle all this. Like, what is my PC? Can I have my microphone going with maybe a recording software? Because I'm going to put this on YouTube later with maybe, you know, Twitch running with this, but being able to say like, this game is running in some warehouse 1,000 miles from here.
Right.
The rest of my PC can be focused on.
Actually, that would be a great thing for me right now. I actually bought parts yesterday in a big part to be able to stream better. Because right now my computer can't handle it. And so if I could not have to spend $500 and do that, I'd be down.
It would be awesome.
It would be pretty cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, though, if it becomes too popular, there's just no possible way. The amount of power that they need to be able to do this, because what you guys, the average person understand when they think cloud saves, they think that there's just some magical place that storage goes. No, what it means is that there are yottabytes of hard drives.
There are
tucked away in a warehouse.
Fields of hard drives just out there, just with all that data on them.
Right. It's not, you're not magically saving stuff somewhere. It's on a hard drive.
All data is physical somewhere.
Yeah, just like on your computer, it's on a hard drive. It just happens to be on Google's hard drive somewhere else, and you can access it via the internet. They're gonna have to do this with processors and with all this other stuff.
That's my concern for a streaming service. Is sure, there's lots of things. How much is it gonna cost for them to maintain all of that? To have like how many hundreds of millions of copies of Grand Theft Auto 5 were sold very quickly.
Right.
Let's just replace those people buying physical copies with streaming it.
Right.
Now one company has to maintain all of that. Let's say you have a concurrent fan base of PUBG of 100,000 players, which is probably low on Steam.
Easy, yeah.
Yeah. But 100,000 people all coming from one company responsible for maintaining and keeping that going constantly. That to me, it sounds like a logistical nightmare.
Yes.
For a company to be able to do, and sounds like mainly the problem would be that it'd be way too expensive.
So to me, what I think about with that is, number one, it's nearly impossible for anybody. Number two, if anybody can do it, it's Google.
Google, who is probably, along with Disney, the closest to ruling the world as a company. Maybe Amazon's up there. But, yeah, if anybody can,
it's Google.
And would try, probably Google.
So, to me, like, if somebody told me that Microsoft was trying to do this, I'd be like, yeah, right. There's no way.
Yeah.
Google might be able to do that, though.
Google's got some money to their name.
$1 or $2.
Yeah, they got a few bucks stored away somewhere, I bet. So I could see that happening. Part of my old man nature, though, which is a large part of my personality. Like, I'm not new technology, shake my fist at it. But part of me is like, no, I just want to buy a game and go play it. Like, I right now, even without this whole streaming thing, I always hesitate unless it's like a Steam game that's only on Steam, or if it's my rules are if it's only on Steam, of course I'm going to get it on Steam if I want to play it, or if it's cheaper, I will get a digital copy. But other than that, I am physical all the way. I want a copy of the CD that I can just, if something happens to my PlayStation or Sony servers, they just all explode for some reason, I have that CD still.
I prefer physical copies over digital copies, but at the end of the day, I prefer not online copies.
Yes.
I like if for some reason my internet goes out, or even if it's just like, hey, we're changing your internet up so you won't have your internet's down for a week. That's a week that I can't play any of my games.
Right.
And so this ability to, again, even if I have downloaded the game online, I don't have a physical copy of it, but it's still on my hard drive. And if I don't have internet, I can still boot that up and play it without internet.
Right.
but this whole streaming idea is 100% reliant on internet.
Relies on your... Yeah, there's another thing that would be a con to this, is that there are a lot of cities that are pretty good with internet, and there are some cities that have like Google Fiber. Like
we do
have it in here in Portland.
Yeah, it's our church is connected to it.
Google Fiber, or not FiOS?
Maybe
we have FiOS at my house.
Maybe it is.
I don't think we have Google Fiber here yet.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's still pretty selective cities, but anyway, I mean, this would probably help their cause of like, you guys want better internet? Well, but to be able to stream games on our service, well, let us bring fiber to you. Petition your politicians so that we can bring fiber to your city or something, which would be pretty vertical integration to the max. But that would be a detriment, is if you are relying on the internet to stream these games, and you are in a town where there's not super good internet, like Joplin, Missouri, where I lived. You can get okay internet, but you can't, like, fiber is not a thing there yet. Right. So, as far as I know... And it won't be for a long time. Right. That's a pretty out in the... And even that one's a fairly large city for the area. Yeah, so, even smaller ones around there, no, it's not going to happen. So... Well,
my in-laws' house, which we lived in the basement of for a while, they don't have internet at all. It's only satellite internet. Yeah. And there's no way... You could satellite
so that would be the poor part. I would see them launching this in stages. Yeah, bringing our streaming service to Los Angeles and New York, and seeing how well it does. But there would be a lot of logistical problems there.
What was prong number 2?
The actual idea is cool. The second part was an actual system, like an actual console that, of course, there aren't many details to these rumors, but it would be something that would possibly be connected to the streaming service. Right. So you could stream like a Steam box, maybe. Right. Where you can play your internet-based games or your computer-based games through this console. But it would be like a system, like a gaming system that they would use those gaming companies that they're bringing in their third part of it.
Because that's the third one,
to create games for.
Right. So I think we can combine those two.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So second and third prongs are making a system and buying companies to make games for them. So kind of like Microsoft acquired Ninja Theory and a few other games or through other companies your like chagrin. That. Yes, definitely to my chagrin, because they made Hellblade.
You'll have to play Hellblade on the PC now.
Yeah, and that's what I'd end up doing. Yep. But at the same time...
Hellblade 2, even hellier.
To have Ninja Theory want to make another game and have Microsoft, which really seems, again, they came with such a humble attitude at E3. I was really happy. To them, I would guess they would say...
Big Kendrick Lamar fans.
You know what, guys? You go for it.
Sure.
Here's extra money. I want that to happen. Here's extra money. You guys go for it.
I say... They did a pretty good job on their own last time. Why not? Why not try it again? Yeah. Like, why not just do it again? They've got the popularity and the game won Game of the Year, or it was nominated for Game of the Year. So
let's stop talking about console stupid Google. Let's talk about Hellblade more. The game's so good.
Nope.
Maybe I need to replay it for the channel.
Maybe you do.
My second playthrough of the channel. This whole idea of a console and then acquiring companies, they would have to do both, is my thought process. That something that Nintendo has done, and to me it's one of their failings, is that they rely so heavily on first-party stuff. Yes. Their third-party support is so small, and because of that, like you have played... one of the best games ever made in Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and a very good game in Super Mario Odyssey, and then you didn't play your Switch for months.
Yep. The game I'm playing right now, which is Ys 8, is the first game I've played since Mario Odyssey. Right. I do have I played Xenoblade Chronicles, but that was early December. Yeah. 7 months ago.
So it's just one of those things where that's one of Nintendo's struggles right now.
Octopath Traveler comes out next month, so it's another big one I'm looking for. But still, though, that's a first-party game. That's a Nintendo game.
Nintendo Square, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, it's a Square game, but it's... Yes.
But, so... They would have to acquire some companies to make games for them to make their console attractive enough. And if they don't combine these two prongs, I don't think they can succeed.
They would have to have a strong... out of the gate, Like,
yeah,
the launch of their console would have to be like, you could not ignore it.
Right.
You would have to have like really good companies that you've got in your stable, but also those companies are making really cool games that you want to play. So like new IP, maybe some sequels to games you've already played, or new games in a series or something. That would, like, because no matter what hardware, and this is how I go about it. No matter what hardware you have, if your software sucks, I don't want it.
Absolutely.
I don't care about it.
Absolutely.
It's all about the application. I don't care how powerful an Xbox One X is. It does not have the games that I want to play compared to Sony's lineup.
Yep.
So I don't care about having an Xbox One X.
Yeah.
And Google would have to be the same thing. I don't care about a streaming service. I don't care about what kind of crazy technology you can make over there at the Google. I don't care if you don't have games I don't want to play. I don't want to play them.
If you don't have games I don't want to play,
if you don't have games, play them.
Is that a triple negative?
So it works out. I said what I wanted to say. If you don't have games I want to play, then I don't want your system. I'm not going to pay hundreds of dollars for it.
Right. Absolutely.
Whereas I paid $300 for a Switch to play Breath of the Wild, and I have no regrets.
Zero regrets.
Yep.
And you know what? I'm considering getting one.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, that is how much this software is. That's how important it is to me.
Yes,
I will buy your system to play a single game, knowing that there are other games I'm going to play eventually. But no regrets after I bought Breath of the Wild.
What I will say is, I think that they should test the waters with this streaming service, and then stop and say, "Hey, exclusive to our streaming service are a couple of these games." Yeah. If the streaming service goes well, then they could say exclusive to our streaming service are a few of these games made by some developers that we acquired. And then if that goes well, in the future, releasing a console where you can buy hard copies of those games. And that, like, just go kind of like slowly step by step.
Sure, I suppose so. I would wonder if they would do it the opposite direction. Like, hey, look at all these awesome games. Maybe charge $350 or $400 for their console, but get people to want to play those games. And then for that crowd that can't afford it, hey, now we have a streaming service. You can play it still.
I think the problem with that would be that if nobody cares about their console, then nobody's going to want to go to the streaming service.
Well, if nobody cares about their games, then nobody's going to want to.
Right.
You can want to play their games and not be able to afford a console, and then be able to play their games now with the streaming service. And be like, okay, I guess I am a Google customer now.
That's actually a really interesting idea. It's almost the equivalent of being like, hey, you own a PlayStation 4, but for a monthly subscription to Xbox Live, you can play some of our games. You know what I mean?
Sure,
and now,
yeah.
Even though you own a Sony console, you can also be a Microsoft customer.
Right. Just give you that option. There would have to be some bonuses to having the console, probably. I mean, just being able to have physical copies and stuff like that. But also, like, I don't know. There's hypothetical. I don't know what to say as an example, but why would your console should be cool enough to have without the streaming service? So that people aren't like, well, I wasted my money on this console now. Why do I need this now? But yeah, I could see that being a thing. The streaming service is something unique, though, that I think that they could be taken seriously with it.
Yes.
That's what they would need, really.
If they can do it.
If they can make it happen, which I don't doubt they can.
See, I do.
Really?
I don't doubt that they can do a decent job. I don't doubt that it's possible. I wonder if the execution can be successful enough. I mean, what internet service is flawless right now?
Google Fiber.
No, that's not ISP, not internet service provider. What internet service is flawless right now? Oh,
you mean like some kind of streaming service or something?
Anything like that, Twitch or YouTube or...
I mean, generally things are pretty stable.
I didn't say stable. I said flawless.
Okay, none
of them are flawless.
Well, sure. Neither, like, Sony's on internet services or Sony's network isn't flawless, but
but if you go to the store and buy a Sony game and put it in the console, 99.999% of the time,
it's true.
It's going to be fine.
You can still play it without the internet service,
and it's going to be just fine.
Yeah, that's of course that's the hard part, is being able to support your the service that they're creating, because again, sounds cool, but it's broken.
100% lying on the internet is a dangerous thing.
Yeah, real lying, not lying.
That's what I said.
I said 100% lying on the internet.
Oh, well.
Also, don't lie on the internet.
Don't lie on the internet. Okay, so
now hold on. There's already an established like community that's doing this whole renting processing power from other computers. Like the whole Bitcoin mining system, or like cryptocurrency mining.
Right.
People do that where they will rent like distant computers and use their processing power to power their bit mining, their mining, their data mining, or whatever it's called, thing. Like that's already a thing. So I mean, it's not something new that they would have to do. It would be something relatively new that they would have to make better. So I feel like it's not like there's potential for it. And again, if anybody can do it,
it's Google.
Google does a pretty good job with the things they put their mind to.
That's true. That's true.
So I could see that. I could see it being a thing.
I would be very cautious. I don't even want to say cautiously optimistic. I would just be trepidous of the whole situation.
Well, 100%.
Yeah.
It would need trials. It would need testing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Google, Yeti, maybe. Who knows? But let's imagine for a moment, not just Google, anybody decides. It's been the big three for decades now. Yes. Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft.
Yeah.
And even then, it's been the big two for a while now.
And also Nintendo.
Right, yeah. And so...
as far as power goes.
So pretty much since the Wii, it's been Sony and Microsoft, and then Nintendo. And so the question now is, what chances are there of coming out with a new console? What would somebody have to do to be able to come out with a new console and compete with the big three?
For simplicity's sake, let's pick a random video game company that could possibly do this. Let's say EA.
I was going to say Sega. They had the Genesis.
That's true. I mean,
maybe they're coming back.
They've already actually bowed out of the system race. Like they don't want to. So, okay, fine. Sega. Let's say Sega wants to make a new system. They want to get back and they throw their hat in the ring and make another terrible Sonic game or something for their new system. So they would need to, and they're trying to enter into they got 3 consoles to deal with plus PC gaming in general. Like Steam is not a console, but it's a platform through which to play video games. Plus you have like Microsoft or EA's streaming thing and Origin, or that's Origin, and you have Uplay. You have those kind of things. But yeah, so what would be the number one thing they have to deal with in their quest to create a competitive gaming console?
Easily to me to deal with is fan loyalty.
Fan loyalty.
I would say that is by far the one thing that because fanboys for Sony, for Microsoft, for Nintendo out there will die for their systems. Not literally, but like, I mean, even...
I would.
Even just when you and I like make flippant jokes on our Facebook page, the Secret Society Gaming page, like there are people who come out of the woodwork to defend their system for some reason. People like get so offended at these things, and to come out with something brand new and expect people to be able to pay X amount of dollars with zero fan base on this thing.
Yes,
they would need to find a way to lure those people away from their systems a little bit, entice them over, and maybe even entice them with some things they're already fans of, because there's console loyalty is almost detrimental in some ways with just how blind people are.
Yeah, the whole idea of like wanting exclusives for your console as a consumer doesn't make much sense. We've talked
about that before.
As a consumer, why wouldn't you want, if you love a game and you think it's great, why wouldn't you want other people to play it?
I think I was actually thinking about that more the other day, and I came up with more examples of games that once they hit non-exclusivity, they became worse.
Well, sure.
But
I understand that, but
we're not talking about exclusivity. Nope. So we're talking about combating with things.
So Sega would have to, in this hypothetical quest to create a new console, Yeah, that makes sense to me that their number one problem would be that people already like what they have.
Right.
Why would they spend another few $100s on another system?
That's why Nintendo's doing what they're doing right now, and they've been doing since the Wii is, since the GameCube, the question was, do you own a GameCube or do you own an Xbox or do you own a PlayStation 3? Two.
Yeah.
Which one of those do you own? And then finally Nintendo was just like, no. Do you own a PlayStation 3 or an Xbox 360 with your Wii?
Yeah.
That's
have a
what
Wii.
we want to do.
What's the other one you get?
Right.
And that was essentially the truth because the Wii sold like freaking hotcakes.
Oh, gosh.
Everybody and their mother literally had one.
Which console, by the way, as far as consoles go, the best-selling console in history? Nintendo Wii.
The Wii is?
Yeah.
I think PS2 would be right behind it.
It is. Yeah. It's the second most.
Yeah.
But,
I know. But.
Yeah. So, really, I think that they would have to find some way I'm not facing my microphone, I'm sorry. They'd have to be able to find some way to be able to combat console loyalty and find a way for people to want to add another system to their collection.
Right, which I think people are more than willing to do. I mean, I understand that there's fan loyalty, but this is being very stereotypical, which might not be fair, but I feel as though the fan loyalty, my console is better than your console thing comes mainly from a younger audience who doesn't have the money to buy another one. And so they feel like they need to justify that theirs is the best, and that's why they have it, and the rest of them suck.
I'm a 35-year-old man with a solid career, house, 3 kids. I just don't want an Xbox One.
Well, yeah, no, but that's different. That's different than wanting to say that your PS4
that's better.
is the superior console.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Saying, like, you can just say, I'm not really interested in getting it because it doesn't have the game. I don't really care about Halo, so why would I get it? That's different. That's just you not interested. There's a difference between that and vehemently saying I'm better than you.
And this is kind of my point as well, is saying that what's going to make me, who was already saying I don't really want an Xbox One, what's going to make me say I do want a Sega Geonosis?
Geonosis. There you go. They have an exclusive contract.
X-Men.
No. Geonosis is a planet in Star Wars. They have an exclusive contract with LucasArts.
I'm thinking Genosha. Yes, Geonosis.
No, yeah, like that's what it is to me. What they would need to do to combat that, and just the plethora of video game consoles, which saying plethora with 3 of them is funny, but really it is like
right.
Is the Xbox was successful mostly because of Halo.
Right.
The Xbox, sure, they touted their hardware capability. I don't think people cared about that as much as, wow, Halo looks pretty cool. Let's play it. And it was great. And so it launched that console for them. And Master Chief became this, their mascot. That was the big deal. And like we were saying, your software has to be right. Your software has to be great, and people who don't have that console want to get that console to play it. So Sega, who I think would be in a good position because they have a few IP, get that Capcom contract back in the works, guys. Get your Resident Evil games out there, and your Mega Man games and all those things. That would be what they would have to do to be able to compete. I think that's just what people are doing. It's either that or do something out of left field.
Right. And that's my other thought is they would have to balance something that is entirely unique, but not too unique.
Yes.
Because what Nintendo has come with is too unique. And not too unique to be bad, but too unique as in we're not in the same market that you guys are in.
They are a different audience. There's a different audience.
Yeah, we're looking for a different market.
Labo. Remember that Labo thing?
Excuse me, that is still a cool thing.
It wasn't mentioned in their E3 presentation. They didn't say anything about it at all at E3.
Their E3 presentation was not great.
It was 60% Smash patch notes, so that's fair. But still, it wasn't mentioned at all, and that's a signal that it probably didn't sell well. I don't really know, but I don't think people are as into it as they wanted them.
Anyway.
But yeah, I agree. Yeah, Nintendo, and I think that would be how Sega could succeed, is oh, we're not working for your audience.
Right.
Sony and Microsoft, you got your thing. Nintendo, you got your thing. We are doing this. I don't know what that would be. My unimaginative brain can't think of something extraordinary for them to do.
So here's what I think that they would do that could really, really help them is to try and come up with some sort of console that is like the console for onlining. And so like, oh, you want to find a way like to bridge that gap between console gamers and PC gamers.
Okay.
We want to be that. So we want to be the console that will stream directly to Twitch. I know that most consoles can do that right now.
Sure.
But we want to do this smoothly and perfectly with such ease.
Give you tools to customize your thing. Like
Yeah,
Sony
absolutely.
doesn't allow you to put an overlay on your thing. Like
Right.
They just let you stream with your webcam if you have it.
We want to be the console that will post directly to your YouTube channel. And, you know, we're going to push a button and we'll let you put in, like, maybe you have a couple of, like, an intro and an outro saved on your hard drive on our console.
Yeah.
Hit that button and we'll put the intro at the front and the outro in the back and we'll post it on your YouTube channel.
Actually, I remember in this article, Google, who owns YouTube, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in the thing. I'm done. They kind of talked about doing that.
Right.
Is integrating their hardware and their streaming service with their YouTube, where you could, like, they made a comment on, like, if you run into a boss you can't beat, then you could just, like, hit a button and open up YouTube and look for a tutorial or something.
Right.
But yeah, being able to immediately post to YouTube through Google servers, like, very quickly,
Right.
be a smart thing to do. That's where the future of gaming is.
Exactly.
In the online community. It's already here, really, but it's going to continue to be there.
It's already here continually, but Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo's way behind on this.
Right.
But Sony and Microsoft are easing their way there because their systems are currently like 6 or 7 years old now.
Something like that. Yeah.
And 5 or 6 years ago, it was not the future. It was the future of gaming, but it was not
the future.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't here.
It wasn't the presence of gaming. And so being the console to step up and step out and saying, we are the online console. We want to be the console that allows you to do all your online stuff. Hey, all you YouTubers, hey, all you streamers, we want to be the console that you want. Okay. Oh, and now Jacksepticeye and Markiplier and PewDiePie love their Sega Geonosis.
The Sega Geonosis.
Love their
Trademark
Google Yeti.
George Lucas.
And now every 12-year-old wants a Google Yeti.
Yeah.
Does that 12-year-old stream or do whatever else? Maybe not. But it doesn't matter because they're big-time online
That's true.
guys.
They're getting that celebrity endorsement. That'd be a big deal.
Yeah. So I think that a really good idea because Sony and Microsoft can't do that. They can't say we want to be the exclusive online console because they have too many fans that, like me, I don't want to be online. I don't care. Like when Microsoft Xbox One came out and was like, we're going to be online all the time and we're going to be checking in with you every 24 hours.
And we will be able to see your heartbeat.
Yeah. Like
across the room.
And people hated it.
Yeah.
Like, and they suffered miserably for it. And it's a large part due to that the Xbox One is so far behind the PlayStation 4 right now. And to come out and say, you know what, we're going to be the online guys, but not like that. We're going to be the guys that let you be, and I would say that they want to advertise it. We want to make you the next internet star.
Yep.
We want to like make it so easy for you to be so cool on the internet.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the cool future of gaming.
That could be a pretty solid way to try to make it happen. But just, I don't know, it feels like there's a glut of video games right now. In a good way, mostly.
Right.
Like, I'm all about all the video games in the world coming out and having too many options.
So let me ask you this. What type of video game would they need to make themselves stand out? You kind of mentioned before about, like, IPs. Like, they need to bring back their Capcoms, their Mega Mans, and their Street Fighters or whatever.
I mean, they already do that, though.
Right.
So it would, like, they would make it console exclusive, of course,
right,
like those classic things. I feel like if they're going to go with this whole online thing in our hypothetical situation here, then come out with some kind of like the end all be all of the battle royale.
Yeah.
The end all be all of the 5-on-1 asynchronous play like you're launching with those titles,
right.
or like the true version of Fortnite, this next map, these 3 new maps and 2 new modes of gameplay exclusive for 6 months to the Geonosis. Like that would, like, as far as games to play, if they're going to go with this whole online thing, well, what's popular on those? You know what's not popular on those? Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. You know what is? PUBG and Fortnite.
Yeah.
That end of list. That's all you got. So, yeah, they would have to lean into that pretty heavily.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be sacrificing, I think, a lot of their potential older market. I would be like, oh, no, I'm good. Pass hard. I don't want that for many reasons. But the future is what they would be looking looking to. So, yeah, I mean, that they would probably have to lean pretty hard into either existing things with new content or creating their own, this is better than Fortnite.
Right.
Look at this cool thing.
Yeah, and what would be really important is that they do not try and go the Nintendo route. Nintendo has been successful with this, but nobody else has, with the Move and the Kinect and all the PlayStation Eye and all this other stuff. Like, they would not have to be a new mechanic, because Nintendo got real lucky, really, with the Wii, that motion controls became as popular as they did, and now they're just like, okay, we're the motion control console now, and
this is what we do.
Yeah, and that's what makes the Wii U and the Switch unique, other than software, of course. But other than that, those systems aren't remarkable in any way. They were less powerful.
Yeah.
It's motion controls that makes them unique, and I guess for the Switch now, the portability of it. But you can't try and bank your entire system on that.
Yep.
Nintendo did it once and got so lucky, and now is just stuck with that.
Right.
To try and come out and say, okay, we're going to be Google Yeti, we're going to be the Sega Geonosis, we're going to come out there and we're going to be the console that is exclusively in your skin. I don't know, something brand new.
No, I don't want that.
Oh, I didn't ask.
It's already there. Now, you know what? I just had an idea. Customizability. Your controller is a modular controller.
Yes.
You can rearrange your buttons.
That world is huge.
Adjust the sensitivity of your joysticks. You can pop them off, and we have a whole range of colors, and you can create custom ones, and we'll send them to you, and you can like make it like you're a PC gamer, because you can do that, or
right.
Or you can add a little. I mean, they have this for controllers right now, but like here's your small keyboard for your controller. Like, give you the option to play the game exactly how you want to play it. You can plug headphones directly into your system. You can, like, we have software set up for all the, your voice recording. You can record your voice separately from the game. Like, all of these things, like, basically, yeah, like you're saying, surround your console. If you're going to surround your console around online gameplay, then make it like it is now, where PC gaming, it's all about customizability and, like, playing for your specific. I was watching Fortnite on Twitch, and they were playing PC, and these guys were incredibly fast. Like, impossibly fast if you were playing on a PlayStation. Literally.
Yeah.
You cannot.
Yeah.
It's because they've got their very specific hotkey maps, like all these things. And if you could do that on a PS4 or like on a 360 or a Xbox One or something, or just a console, like, people would be all about that. A console that you didn't have to upgrade the hardware for, but could customize upgrade the hardware. You could customize the hardware. I think people would be all about that.
Oh, man. So I think, and this sucks that we're running close to our end of our time here, but I think you may have hit it. A modular console that's customizable, being able to say, okay, I'm going to play Fortnite on my console now, so I don't care about graphical power, because Fortnite's not that big on graphics.
Graphics-wise, no. It takes a lot of processing power.
Right.
But
So I want to plug in my Processor Plus, and I'm going to take out my Graphic Plus, and I'm going to plug in
your system can only handle
plus.
so much power coursing through, or it can only support so much, energy.
Right.
That would be interesting.
Or, you know what? I'm going to stream now, so I'm going to put in my internet plus. Plug that in, and you have two or three extra slots that you can customize. Modular hardware. So Razer, the computer company, had this idea of doing that a while back. It never really took flight, but this idea of modular hardware. But I plug-in,
like if you could just plug it in.
Well, the reason that it failed for the Razer, I think, was because PC gaming, people want to be granular with it.
Yes.
They want to go into, but for a console person, the reason that I am into consoles is that I don't have to be granular.
It's simple and straightforward.
I buy console. Now, if you tell me you can buy console and then you can buy Graphic Plus for console.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. If you tell me there's an option for Graphic Plus and that's it, and it's $30
it's essentially like saying, hey, we've got a PS Pro, but it's a $50 just add-on to what you've already got instead of a whole new system.
Or an Xbox One X.
Yeah.
But instead of buying a whole new system, you have modular Xbox One X that you unplug one thing and you plug it in,
now,
or it has
is
two
this
extra
a thing
slots, whatever.
That could happen? Probably, but I don't know. We might just be pulling this out of our butts. I don't know exactly how it...
If nobody's thought of this, TM.
It's ours. We're calling Sega. And LucasArts, I guess. Because it's got to be called the Geonosis now.
And Marvel, because we said Genosha at one point.
Disney's in the mix.
They own us now.
We are now.
Dang it.
Oh, who's knocking on the door?
Does Fox Play brought to you by Disney.
Bob Iger, CEO of Disney. He's here. He heard us.
With Nick Fury. He wants to talk to us about the modular console initiative.
Oh, that's kind of awesome.
But I think that would be
a cool thing.
And if anybody could do it, Google could do that.
That sounds like a Nintendo thing to do, but it sounds like it'd be a Nintendo type system that could also compete with a Microsoft. And
yes.
That sounds, man, we are geniuses. We're making this.
Yeah.
I am quitting both my jobs tomorrow.
With all
of my life savings,
electronic experience building the system. Okay, I've taken a ceiling fan and rewired it into my computer. Fox, you just taped it to your computer.
Look, I built my PC by watching a YouTube channel. It's probably on YouTube already. It hasn't been invented, but there's a YouTube.
I will tell you this right now for sure. If there were a couple extra plugs in my PlayStation 4 and they told me that you could go buy Internet Plus for $30, I would already own that.
Yeah.
And I would plug that in and I would have it in there. Sure. And then sometimes they were like, but you can also have Sound Plus that will make sure that it totally goes with your 7.2 surround sound and that each speaker is going to be individually... but you have to unplug your Internet Plus. Well, that's fine. I'm not going to play Unravel 2 on my internet.
Yeah.
But
the sound
really
is
beautiful. It's great. And so, yeah, I'm going to plug Sound Plus into that spot instead. I would wreck It's
kind of a cool thing. Yeah.
I would spend so much money on a modular console. And a modular console is one of those things where, again, because consoles used to have 7 to 10 year lifespans, 7 years into it, you don't even realize that you spent $1,000.
That's true.
On that $400 console.
If you spread out that money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Modular console TM.
We're making it. Dang it. Such a good one. Did not intend on doing this, but we did it.
Well, guys, let us know what you think about the rumors of the Google Yeti and their ideas, their 3-pronged ideas.
And how they're bad compared to what we just came up with.
You know what my problem is? I've been watching a lot of True Facts from Zafrank, and they often talk about pronged penises and that. They really do.
On that note, thanks for listening, guys.
Let us know what you think about Google Yeti's possibilities. Let us know what you think about what a console would have to do, a company would have to do to come out with a new console. And also, if you do anything with the modular console,
we will find you.
You owe us money.
Give us money. Any amount is fine. Just give us
the console. Money. Give it to us for free.
That too. Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for listening. We will see you next time. And remember, save games, save lives.
See you next week.